Hello, fellow humans. My name is Vlad Bunea, and this is Toast Growth News, where we eviscerate the most important news from last week with a focus on the crazy obsession with economic growth on a finite planet. Some of my loyal telespectators have pointed out that I was not actually roasting economic growth in episode 1, so the name of the show will keep changing until all telespectators will achieve full satisfaction and, dare I say it, post growth well being. Today, we are going back to basics. Last week, we had headlines like these: China's resilient economic growth offers stability in a volatile world. Canadian oil sands have strong growth potential, but pipeline constraints loom. South Korea's Q1 GDP growth roars past market on booming AI driven chip demand. Germany halves 2026 growth forecast, raises inflation outlook amid Iran war, getting Malaysians to save fuel while preserving low prices, economic growth. Mexico economy stuck in mild stagflation this year, held back by trade uncertainty. IMF downgrades global growth. These headlines are worse than a Mr. Beast challenge. They assume we are stupid enough not to question their economic assumptions and their morality. They want you to think that economic growth is something good, all countries must have economic growth, and there's competition between countries about who has the most economic growth. Let me show you yet again why economic growth is a stupid idea and why we must get rid of it. Economic growth is basically producing and selling more goods and services compared to the previous year. Something must have a price in money and be sold in order to count towards the economic growth of a country. Manufacturing and selling military equipment counts as economic growth. Performing a medical procedure, whether needed or not, counts as economic growth. Cutting down forests counts as economic growth because wood becomes a commodity with a price and a buyer. Selling cannabis in Canada legally with a receipt counts as economic growth. Mainstream economists and politicians want you to think that economic growth must be pursued all the time because it leads, allegedly, to many good things: better quality of life, healthier people, more prosperity. But if we look at all these headlines about economic growth from last week, none of these articles explain how economic growth translates into any of the good things that matter to people. How is the growth of Canada's oil sands going to make Canadians healthier or more prosperous? They're not saying, wait, maybe if I added a drop of oil sands into my avocado smoothie. How is the high demand of AI chips increasing the standard of living of Koreans? I know a healthy daily portion of AI chips keeps the doctor away. The same for Germany and Malaysia. We are expected to believe that there's some magical mechanism that transforms all this big, beautiful growth into a better life for people. Economic growth is a stupid idea because it does not deliver what it promises. Gen Z cannot buy a house because it is too expensive. Quality of life has decreased because there's more pollution and more waste. Anxiety and mental illness has increased exponentially. Economic growth is a stupid idea because it believes it can deliver what it promises. It cannot. For the past 40 years, capitalism has been promising to give us a better life. It has not. We are living with more financial stress and less financial freedom on average than 40 years ago. Economic growth is a stupid idea because it thinks it's smart and it isn't, and ignores the alternatives that can actually deliver prosperity for all humans. Here's the complete mechanism. In capitalism, prosperity and well being is supposed to come from for profit business. The assumption is that for profit businesses can create prosperity and well being through the market mechanism. Why? Because people know what increases their well being, so they will only buy that thing, therefore, eliminating from the market what is not good for their well being because they won't buy it. Is this what is really happening? If for profit business makes only products required by the market, why do we have so much pollution and waste? Does the market want that? This smells like very stupid to me, or extremely evil. It may be a combination of both. The magical mechanism is how capitalism works. That's no secret. Capitalism is nothing less than an economic system that allows accumulation of property without limit on the assumption that the market is fair. But the market is not fair. The market has ruined the planet where I could walk my dog in peace. My alternative to the obsession with economic growth is called the economy for life. In an economy that truly served the quality of life, we wouldn't need useless industries, wasteful products, and environmental degradation to create prosperity and well being. We would grow forests, not rocket launchers. We would grow organic farms, not industrial agriculture. We would grow parks, not highways. We would have more free time, not work 40 hours a week or more. We would have a very low limit on wealth because we don't need too much wealth for living a good life. We would have economic democracy where workers and consumers decided themselves what needs to be produced while having in mind all the consequences of the entire life cycle of the product. You see, what we need is not growth as a substitute for well being and prosperity. We actually need well being and prosperity without substitutes. Again, the headlines from last week show not even a glimpse of an economy that actually offers quality of life. They repeat the mantra of growth as if we are supposed to believe the magical mechanism. But if we ask capitalists if they want fresh air, parks, forests, and leisure time, they will all say yes, give me all that. But in order to get there, we must do economic growth first, which means let business do their thing. So far, corporations have brought us pollution, waste, anxiety, and financial insecurity. Economic growth works for creating prosperity for those who own the factories, the banks, and the resources. Their incentive is to make prosperity for themselves first. Since the damage done is so great and is affecting all of us, clearly economic growth has failed to deliver. Our industries have grown to a size much bigger than the capacity of Earth to absorb all the waste and pollution. This is why growth is a problem. It's like a cancer cell. If it grows too much, it kills the organism. Economic growth must stop, and we must eliminate the bad industries, fossil fuels, the military, industrial agriculture. We must take the power away from the ruling elites that have used their wealth to cause all this damage. That was it, folks. Episode 2 of Toast Growth News. Subscribe to learn more about how the economy for life would work better than capitalism. Increase the peace.